All right. Good day, everyone. Once again, it's still your humble Professor Reasonable, and you're welcome to this section where we just talked about evolution, why it is important for us as individuals to constantly try to evolve, which means becoming better persons through our education. That as humans, we are first crude individuals, then as we begin to acquire education or knowledge, then we go through the process of refinement to become informed individuals. Then by the time we become informed, from the stage of information, we become free men. And and a free man could also be termed as an evolved man. Now, from the stage of an evolved man or a free man, we moved on to the stage of being an illuminated individual. An illuminated individual means that somebody who has refined the content of his being, the human, what we call human resources. We'll be talking about all these things in our previous discussions. So please, if you are just seeing this clip now, you can look at our word. A woman's word is beyond beautiful, to actually get yourself acquainted with what we are saying all along. Now, this is exactly why we are discussing this, that the woman's word is beyond just being beautiful. When you see a lady and you say, wow, this lady is beautiful, you see, we are coming to the next topic, which is wow. You see, I just said, when you see a lady and you say, wow, this lady is beautiful, what are you actually talking about? We'll get to that point. That from there, you become actually an illuminated individual, or an individual who carries light. You cannot become, a platform for others that shines towards others, that helps other people, from evolving or developing from their crude stage now. So that this is why it takes somebody who knows to be able to teach an individual who doesn't know. If you don't know, how can you teach another person who doesn't know? A blind man cannot lead a blind man. So this is actually the parable of life. So now, what do we mean when we are talking about a woman's word is beyond beautiful? We have actually explained all that. And now, let us take it further. When you see an individual and you say, wow, sorry, a lady, especially those we say they are very beautiful lady, and you say, wow, what do you mean? You are actually saying the window of wisdom. You see, wow means WOW. That means window of wisdom, which means that for you to actually see the real content of a woman, you cannot just look at a woman just like that and you say you are seeing the real content of a woman. And we did say that, most times when we look at the woman, we see her fine face, probably big backside, good chest, and so on and so forth. She's fair, she's very skinny, she's dark, depending on what you agree is beauty. Yeah, and you say, wow, I have seen, a spectacular woman. Now, just not too long along the road, especially after you have got onto this woman, you have explored this beauty you see, before you know what is happening, let's say within 1 year, you are tired of this lady. Now, that is because you only see the peripheral aspect of the woman, of the human being. This is why we said that the woman is wisdom of life. The woman means words to man. Now, and they are also mirror of man and mirror of life, which means that God provided the woman herself is a parable. That is why we are defining the woman as wisdom, wealth, mirror, and so on, and even woe of man. That there is something beyond just this physical beauty in the women that we see. And for you, and we have discussed all that, which is what we sometimes refer to as the human resources. The real content of the woman, her potent energy, her intelligence, her knowledge, even her wisdom, her character, her knowledge, her potentials, the powers she carries, her egg of life, her destiny. What is it called again? The various dipotent and tripotent balances, you know, everything that is embedded in the woman. This is the real content that we are meant to actually explore. And it takes, men of great wisdom to be able to actually see into real women. This is why you see sometimes you have the ones we may call very beautiful ladies. You have very beautiful ladies that are mannerless. They have high nuisance values or high nuisance potentials. And you see some ladies, like some of us will agree, this lady is very beautiful, but she's not a wife material. And now, let's leave even the wife issue or the wife material issue. Now, this lady is very beautiful, but obviously she's not adding value to herself, to life. Now, sometimes you now look at it and you say, and you want to ask, is it that the beauty is her cause? No, beauty is not really a cause to any woman or even to men. But the fact is that when a woman is so carried away by her beauty, or even we the men, we pay so much attention, we lay so much emphasis on the physical beauty of the woman, which erodes and fades off very, very fast in life. Now, you realize that you miss the original and the real content that is embedded in the woman. Every woman, whether the one you are saying is useless today, the one you are saying, is not actually adding value to herself in life today, every woman alive today actually have all these human resources, the real content of the woman, which I call the crown of the woman. Yes, which they bring to marriage as part of the stakes they bring to marriage, to contribute to the life of men. Now, and we have measured some of those, resources. Now, for the man to be able to see into the woman and beyond her beauty, the man must be an evolved individual. So you see, again, we are coming back to our previous discussion that evolution in life is very, very key. And we also said that this is why I always make this argument that for a man to actually understand life, for a man to actually make so much gain in life, for us to be able to build our society, build, the Nigerian nation, we really need to go back to the basis in understanding even the woman. Yes, because for us to develop the wow mind, which means the window of wisdom mind, this is what a lot of our leaders are lacking today. Most of our leaders see life just like they see women. Yes, this is why I am using the woman as the basis of my discussion. A lot of us see even life generally today just the way we see women. The way we see women is, wow, the woman is beautiful, she has big backside, she has this, she has that. At the end of the day, all you want to do is to go to bed with the woman. At the end of the day, you want to trash her. Today we know in our society, use and dope is the order of the day. Men don't value women for anything anymore. Our fathers of previous generation who had this window of wisdom kind of mind, their mind, they were so matured. This is another thing I must point out at this juncture, that a lot of us always believe that to become educated, to become informed, to become refined, we have to go to school. This is not the truth. This is not the truth. There are some people you call illiterate, at this crude level. You can also say what do you call it now? A crude individual is an illiterate individual. We can also use that term for the crude individual. But do you know the truth? Some of our the previous generations of our fathers, we used to classify as illiterate people, are actually not crude as we see them. they are they were far more refined and even informed free men and evolved men than some professors of this current generation. Yes, I must. It's. I can take. I can engage any individual, in a debate on this today. That some of our fathers in previous generation we thought were not educated, they were illiterate, are not actually crude people. They're actually more refined than some professors we see today, which means that it doesn't take an individual to go to school to become educated. Education can be acquired anywhere. It must not be in the formal institution. This is I went to school, I'm a graduate, but from my understanding and findings about life today, I have come to understand. In fact, the people the great philosophers of ancient societies, which school did they even attend in the first place? Yes, they went. This is why the most important principle or phenomenon of self-refinement is actually meditation. Yes, the most important way of mining the mind, like we just said, that the greatest mine on earth is not gold mine, it's not silver mine, it's not uranium, it's not plutonium mine, it's actually the human mind. That is the greatest mine you can find anywhere on earth. It is actually embedded or deposited in us. The greatest resources alive is the human mind or the human resources. So now, when we just go to school, not really understanding what education is all about. This is what we do especially in Africa today. This is another difference between advanced countries and African countries. That most Africa, we just go to school. This is the nature of our education. Now, our type of education is to go and become trained for employment, you know, without actually learning skills and eventually arriving at self-discovery and self-actualization. So this is why you see in a lot of African nations and their citizens are actually unproductive today. Especially, let's come back home in Nigeria. Many of us are graduates, but what can we produce? You find in other nations, like even in China, people who may not have been to school, who are not certified as graduates, but what they can produce, what they can turn out from their talents will marvel you. So does it not come to show us that certificate is not actually talent? Certificate is not actually productivity. Certificate is actually, like some people will say, it's actually enslavement. It trains you. Certificate is just to show that you have now become certified to become employed, which means you have now become certified to go and become dependent again and become enslaved. Now, let us see the kind of education that advanced countries give to their citizens if they must go to school is a type that is based on skill acquisition, that is based on self-discovery. This is all we are talking about today. The issue of human resources, self-discovery. That even the woman that is close to us, we don't even know who the woman is. We don't know who we are, what is in us. We have to develop this wow mind, the window of wisdom. This was the kind of mind our fathers had. When they view anything, they view it from the window of wisdom. You don't just see things and just look at it and see that they are just like that, they are ordinary. Now, our leaders in Nigeria look at us and they just see us as just ordinary citizens, bloody citizens, bloody civilians, as the soldiers will say it. As citizens just really bloody. It is because they are not viewing from the window of wisdom. If you view a man or a woman from the window of wisdom, you will realize that the greatest embodiment of resources in life is actually the man you are seeing, the next person that is sitting beside you, your wife in the house, your children in the house. Whether black or white, we are actually bundles of wonders. So as we progress, we begin to see. So this is why it is for us to be able to develop our mind of wisdom. For you as an individual, to be able to, from today, when you see a woman, you no longer see a woman just from the perspective of her sexual being, because she has a big backside, she has big chest, her hair is long, she's dark in complexion. No, this is not the real meaning of the woman. The real meaning of the woman is also the definition of the man himself, what the woman carries in herself. That the woman, in the 6 spheres of life, which has to do with the administrative life, the management life, the labor life, the social life, the spiritual life, and the sexual life. Sexual life is just one aspect of our 6 spheres of life. The women, based on the human resources, the intelligence, knowledge, wisdom, potentials, talent, they can also contribute even in terms of leadership, in terms of management, in terms of labor, in terms of social, and life. They can contribute in all these spheres to life. This is why I always have this statement. I always make this statement that for any nation to solve our problems, it must require the feminine touch of the women, just as it also requires the masculine touch of the men. So this is why you see, if you look at nature, when you study electricity, you study magnetism, what you find is basically positive and negative charges. This goes to show us that when you bring it to humanity, you'll be talking about masculinity and femininity, because we may not want to use the language positive and negative for man and woman. No, the woman is not negative. The man is not. We cannot say the man is positive, the woman is negative. No, that is why those who understand use masculinity and femininity. Masculinity and femininity is just the same way in terms of humanity, referring to positive charge like negative charge. That's which means the different current that you find in life. The female current or the feminine touch of life that comes from the women is required in solving problem, day-to-day problem. Also, the masculine touch, or what you call the masculine current of life is also required in solving whether national problems and so on. So when you look at a woman and you just, as a man, and you say, who is she? It goes to show the extent of, will I say, emptiness in terms of wisdom in such a man. It goes to show how lacking in terms of the window of wisdom of that man, which means that the window of wisdom of that man is completely blocked, is completely closed. Yes, so as leaders in Nigeria, in Africa, it is important that we begin to develop our wow minds. You must, there is what we call truth beyond reality. You must be able to see things beyond their physical nature, beyond what they just represent. When somebody talk to you, you must be able to understand beyond what how do they used to say it in English? Beyond the superficial meaning. Thank you. There are deep meanings. Life is a code. The woman is a code to us. We have to decode the woman for us to be able to understand. And for us to be able to develop this, we must evolve. So this is why we have been able to explain why you see this. We say some nations are advanced today, and we classify Africa, even Nigeria, as an underdeveloped nation. Because a lot of us have not been able to evolve yet. This is why our elections are the way they are. This is the truth. When you are not an evolved individual, sentiment rules over you. Greed rules over you. Unnecessary, desires that destroys life rules over you. But when you have become evolved, you now become light yourself. This is actually the experiment of man. God created man in a crude state so that and begin to give us knowledge, so that with knowledge and wisdom we begin to refine ourselves and become better individuals, refined and informed individuals in life. We become evolved and become illuminated, which means we are now people who carry light. When you transform what is inside you, it becomes light. Remember, we said in our previous discussion that everything that the human being carries, from knowledge to powers to talents and everything, it has a way it transforms into what we call emirate, and that emirate is what we call light. And at the level when you have reached your potent emirate, you have become an illuminated individual, and you can now shine light, which means that you are now an individual who can now help others. So this is basically what we are discussing today. That for us to be able to solve our national problems, for even as an individual, for us to be able to create wealth, for us to be able to solve our day-to-day problems, we must continue to strive to evolve. Evolution is key, is the way to go. Africa cannot continue to remain like this. Now, and for us, and when you begin to evolve, one of the things you develop is your window of wisdom. This can also be lacking, this can also be likened to what we call power of vision. Power of vision. Yes. When your window of wisdom opens, now your power of vision, is exposed. You now see things beyond the way other people see it. You see things, very deep. And this is, let me just say something here. Now, most of us, when we see this representation, the triangle and the little circle in it, most times, most people don't really understand what this means. We are simply talking about the human being. These three, the triangles, the three lines that makes up the triangle, simply talk about the human body, mind, and the soul. Yes, when you join them, you have a triangle. Now, what it means is that as you begin to acquire knowledge, in your mind, you begin to develop your energy, your physical self, and eventually begin to develop your spirit individual too. Now, your window of wisdom opens up, or your power of vision opens up, which is what you see at the center, what most people represent, at the center of the triangle. This is simply what it means. You see it, used in on many platforms and so on and so forth. They are actually talking about you. This is to show us how advanced some countries have become. That we in Africa, these informations are flying under our nose. We don't really pay attention to. We don't even know what it means. They are talking about us. They are talking about you in Africa. Yes. So this is why I said that the world is actually evolving we have evolved from the slave world to the colonial world, and to the smart world, and to the currently we are in the smart world, and the world is evolving to the supersonic world. And now Africa has not even been able to leave its colonial mentality yet. We are still trapped in our slave mentality, and our colonial mentality. Now, this is my prediction that until we try to evolve, we try to develop our minds and become better persons and build Nigeria and build Africa, the truth is this, that the next world of the supersonic world, Africa, if care is not taken, will become slaves again. Yes, will become slaves again. So this is why you see it is of concern to so many people that the Chinese coming here, the Americans coming to Africa, just like about last week or something, the Vice President, Her Excellency Kamala Harris, was in Africa. The Russians are back to Africa. The Americans are back to Africa. The English who colonized us have always been here. Now, we've not really tried to ask ourselves why. The fact is that It is not a bad idea. The world is a global village. Everybody must interact. The world, you can no longer live in isolation. But the truth is this: if you do not prepare yourself, get yourself informed and evolve and empower yourself, by the time you sit in the committee around the table of committee of nations, you will have nothing to offer. And when you have nothing to offer, there is nothing that will save you from becoming enslaved. So this is why it is important for us to look at the human resources for any nation. If Nigeria continues to go in this way, we do not pay attention to human resource development, human capital development. Honestly, there is no way we will ever get it right. So, and this is why I'm using the woman as one of the most phenomenal, wonderful creation of God to buttress my explanation. Thank you once again for watching.